This is Bite-Size Plays Online. Journeyman Theatre Productions are pleased to present 3 brand new 10-minute plays written by Domaille and produced for the first time. In Easywings, we'll be going to ancient Greece. In Camp David, to the American wilderness. And in Apocalypse Then, well, just wait and see. Enjoy the plays. Easywings. When ambition flies too high.
Stop! Come on, down here!
There's something wrong, officer.
Do you know why I've stopped you, sir?
Oh no, I wasn't speeding, was I?
No, you were within the speed limit.
Oh, that's a relief. I've only just passed my test. This is my first pair of wings and I'm not quite used to them yet. When I was learning, the instructor had me on older ones, not quite so quick.
I see. Name?
Icarus.
Full name, please.
That is my full name. A bit embarrassing, I know, but my parents are convinced I'll become a legend, so thought just one name would do.
Icarus. Do you have your license with you?
Oh no, sorry. Bit short on pockets, wearing a toga. I'm sure you'd understand.
But you do have a license.
Oh yes, and insurance, third-party fire and theft, and the wings are serviced as part of the agreement we struck with the dealer.
We?
Dad and me.
I see.
So, what exactly have I done wrong, officer?
Flying too close to the sun.
What? But I was nowhere near the sun.
See this?
What is it?
It's the most up-to-date, state-of-the-art device for measuring how close people are flying to the sun. You flew too close. It's all recorded.
Recorded? But where?
In here. Whatever the device shows, I recorded in here, and I've got you down as being too close.
I'm not gonna get a ticket, am I?
Yes, and you'll probably lose your license.
Oh no, I can't lose my license. I've only just got it.
Or perhaps you should have thought of that before you flew too close to the sun.
Please, officer, please don't give me a ticket. I didn't do it deliberately. It was an accident. If my dad finds out I've been done for this, he'll go mad.
I'm sure he'll be understanding.
Do you know who my dad is?
Don't you start trying to intimidate me out of my duty.
I'm not, honestly. My dad is Daedalus. He built the labyrinth.
The what?
A labyrinth for King Minos of Crete to hold the Minotaur.
The what?
A man, half monster, half bull.
Sounds a bit far-fetched.
Have you really not heard of Daedalus? The master craftsman.
Nope.
Star of mythology.
Never heard of him.
He's a legend. Homer wrote a whole thing about him. He's got a bit of a reputation for karaoke nights at the Taverna Minos.
Oh, that Daedalus. Now you mention it, I think I did read something in the Creature Fair. Something about the labyrinth having been built so cunningly he could barely escape it himself after he built it.
He was a bit late home from work one day.
Anyway, what's this got to do with whether I give you a ticket or not?
Well, he's a bit of a one for the rules. When that Minotaur started acting all antisocial, he went out of his way to deal with it.
And?
Well, can you imagine what a dad who comes up with the labyrinth could come up by way of disciplining his offspring?
Bit of a toughie, is he?
The last thing he said to me was, "Don't fly too close to the sun." No, actually, the last thing he said was, "You treat this place like a bloody hotel. Why don't you ever clean up after yourself?" But before that, he definitely said, "Don't fly too close to the sun."
He sounds like a very good father.
He is. But if he finds out, he'll go mad. And then all my future plans will be in ruins. Please, officer, I'm begging you.
What future plans?
You'll never guess.
You're right, I won't. What plans?
Oh, I plan to start the world's first airline.
What's an airline when it's at home?
Well, when I've mastered solo flight, I plan to take passengers.
Passengers?
Yes.
Up there in the sky?
Yes.
Where would you take them?
Oh, anywhere they'd like to go. I take business people on business trips. I take people to holiday destinations. Then there's the stag and hen party market. The opportunities are endless. Mark my words, officer. Flight is the future.
If Zeus had meant people to fly, he'd have given them wings. You said you got those from a dealership, not Mount Olympus.
I did, but if Zeus hadn't meant dealers to have wings,
All right. Anyway, I can hardly see how running an airline could be a profitable business.
Oh, I think you'll find I'm ahead of my time there. I wouldn't just charge for the flights. I'd charge for the luggage, the in-flight meals, drinks, duty-free goods, using the toilet.
Using the toilet? Surely any reputable business wouldn't even consider charging people to use the toilet.
Oh, I don't know. I think it'll be standard practice one day. That's how far ahead of my time I am.
You really think there's money to be made flying people around?
Yep.
So what would you call this airline?
Oh, I don't know. Icarus Airways?
Nah,
Oh,
doesn't have a ring to it. In fact, whilst I can't quite put my finger on why, I reckon that's a terrible name for an airline.
how about Easywings?
Maybe.
Ryan Fly?
Ryan Fly? What kind of a name is that?
I guess you're right. Easywings it is then. Mark my words, I'll be flying in and out of airports all across Greece before you know it.
What's an airport?
Ah, that's where I have people meet to take their flight. It's another opportunity to make my fortune. Silly prices to park your chariot for the week, outrageous prices at the bar while you wait for your flight, and then shops selling Toblerone and sunglasses at 20% off starting prices from the realms of fantasy.
You really have thought this through, haven't you?
It will open up the world for people and make me rich. What could go wrong?
I grant you, it's an interesting idea.
But if I lost my license,
And I really should give you a ticket for flying too close to the sun.
getting banned would ruin my future.
Well, I suppose it's not a bad thing to encourage a young entrepreneur. I could just give you a warning.
You could,
An airport and airlines, eh?
yes,
And I could take the other half to roads.
in a fraction of the time it takes on a donkey.
All right, I'm prepared to let you off with just a warning on this occasion.
Oh, officer, I can't thank you enough.
Of course, you'll have to promise to be more careful in the future. But looking at the wax on your wings, I don't think they'll stand up to getting much closer to the sun. Are you sure you got those wings from a dealer? They look a bit racy.
I might have souped them up a bit. If I'm going to be taking passengers, there'll have to be some adjustment.
Okay, and never let it be said I lack discretion. I hereby formally warn you not to fly too close to the sun again. Any further transgressions will result in a fine or imprisonment or both. Do you understand?
Absolutely. Thank you, officer. You've been great.
All right, off you go then. Good luck with that airline idea.
Thanks.
Fly carefully. Everything all right?
I haven't quite mastered the vertical takeoff. I'll have to take a run for it. Bye!
Safe flight. Or mind how you go. Or watch your altitude. Stay below the clouds. Or not so high. Hey, I said not so high. What did I just warn you about? You'll melt the wax on your wings. Or you're getting a bit close to the sun now. Come down a bit. Come down. You're going to...
Oh no, my wings!
I warned him. I told him not to fly too close to the sun. Oh well, what a shame. Should have known better, really. I mean, people flying, it'll never catch on.
Camp David, when your marriage is killing you.
Will you look at those stars, David? Wow, it's beautiful out here.
Sure is.
I had no idea that the stars would be so much brighter away from the city. But you weren't kidding when you said this place was remote.
It's what I wanted for us, Faye. Somewhere away from everyone and everything.
How's the soup?
It's real great. You should have some.
Oh, I'm too excited about all this to eat. Are you sure it's safe being camped so near the edge of this drop? That sure is a long way down.
Trust me, Faye. I'm the experienced camper in this marriage. This is the safest place to pitch a tent for miles. Because of the bears.
Bears?
Oh.
There are bears around here. David!
It's okay. I'm okay. I just kind of slipped.
Please be careful, baby. I know you're the one who's been on like a million camping trips, but, well, anyone can have an accident. Hey, kind of makes you shudder, doesn't it?
What?
Well, we came out here in the wilderness for quality time, but, well, no one knows where we are. If something happens...
Nothing's gonna happen, Faye. I told you. I'm an experienced camper.
Sure, you've been a million times with the guys. But is that real experience?
What do you mean?
I mean, I know you sleep in tents, but I also know you go into the nearest town. For the diners and the bars and
And the what?
the women.
What are you talking about? We hunt and cook and bring beer in coolers. There's never any women. Who told you we'd go into town?
Henry.
Henry, what does he know? He came on one trip, and then he said he couldn't live without a shower or a hairdryer.
That's what he told you. What he told Maggie was that you guys were too busy drinking and chasing women to appreciate the world of nature.
Now hold on.
Chill, David. You don't need to deny it. I'm okay with it.
You are?
Why we're here this weekend, huh? It's because our marriage has been stale a long time. I've been distant, doing my own thing, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised you looked for your fun somewhere else.
Well, I guess I had a drink a couple of times,
And one thing leads to another. People under stress do things they wouldn't normally do. Our relationship caused you stress. You did whatever you did. It's okay.
It is?
Sure. Let's take this weekend as a new start. Put all that bad stuff behind us, huh?
Okay.
But as I'm being so reasonable, I do have one condition.
Okay.
My condition for putting everything behind us is that you drop your interest in Cindy.
Cindy? Geez, Faye, I don't have any interest in Cindy. Cindy is your best friend. You don't
I
think
don't think, David. I know.
Honey, I can't think what that crazy woman has been telling you.
She's told me everything. The notes, the calls, the flowers, the begging.
Begging?
She told me that at first she was kind of flattered. You're a good-looking guy, a successful guy, her kind of guy. If you weren't her best friend's husband.
Faye, honey, she's exaggerating.
Then she said that being flattered soon got overshadowed by the feeling that she was being stalked.
Stalked? I'm no stalker. I sent her maybe dozens of texts to say I was no stalker.
Right.
Oh, God, she said I was a stalker?
She did.
Oh, Faye,
David, stop. What did I say just now? I just want to start anew. You stop chasing Cindy. Problem solved.
Can't believe you're being so reasonable.
We have a simple choice. We can tear ourselves apart or we can move on. Would you like to move on, David?
I sure would, Faye.
Oh my, I just had a thought.
What thought?
Oh, careful, baby. You nearly fell into the fire then. Here, come and take that before you get
Ah!
out. Oh, baby, what's wrong?
Road burn!
Surely, that has to smart, huh?
It does. What was the thought you had?
Oh, it doesn't matter now. Let me look at those hands.
No, tell me. Come on, honey. It must be something.
Well, it's just that I suddenly thought that there might be other girls, other women you're interested in. Maybe Cindy isn't the only one.
No. My infatuation with Cindy was,
Yes?
a one-off.
Like the other one-offs.
Huh?
Like the girls from the bars and the diners in town.
Yes. I mean, no. Well, there weren't that many. Well, I guess it depends what you mean by many. But they weren't serious. It didn't mean anything. It's like you said. We were having a rough time, and I guess I kind of sought some comfort in places I shouldn't have.
Oh, baby.
It's great you understand, honey.
Of course I do. Just like you understand what I did.
What you did? What do you mean? What you did? What did you do?
Oh, that's so sweet of you, baby. But you don't need to pretend you don't know. I feel the guilt. Like you do. See, you don't need to spare me.
Faye, honey, I have no idea what you're talking about. What did you do?
You mean, who did I do?
What?
Well, I'm not proud of my thing with our dentist, and I didn't go with him for favors, but you'd think he'd at least discount my bill, if not yours, afterwards.
You had an affair with our dentist?
I sought comfort, David. It wasn't an affair. Even Steve wasn't an affair.
Steve? You had an affair with your tennis coach?
I just said it wasn't an affair. I've only had one affair, and that was with Bill.
Bill? Oh my God, not my boss! No!
He comforted me when you were away on your guys' camping trips, and, well, it just happened.
I can't believe this. You've been having affairs over and again, and I knew nothing about it. I never suspected a thing.
Baby, I honestly thought you knew. I thought it was obvious. Oh my, not tonight, honey, I have headache excuses. Or the calls to our house where the caller put the phone down if you answered. Or the huge purchases on your credit card.
There are huge purchases on my credit card?
Well, you must have seen. Oh my, I have told you so often you should keep track of spending. Don't tell me you still don't keep track.
No, I don't. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. You slept with the guy who whitens my teeth? With the guy who taught me to serve on volley? And my boss. And I've been paying for this.
But hey, that's all behind us now. Hey, baby, that's what this weekend is for, isn't it? Our new start.
No, Faye. That's not what this weekend is about. The truth is, I've brought you to the most remote spot I can find, where no one knows where we are. Because, well, there's gonna be a new start, but only for me. There's a woman in the next town waiting for me. I met her on the last trip out here, and we're gonna make a future together. So, I guess this is where it's all got to end for you.
I see. Now, I could see pushing me over the edge could work, 'cause if they ever found me, they'd maybe say the poor gal fell. And I could see choking me to death with a rope could work, 'cause, well, you could bury me out here and I'd never be found, but...
You knew.
Yeah, I knew. But what I don't know is how you think that big old hunting rifle is gonna work.
There's no one for miles to hear the shot.
If it were loaded, baby.
What
Look all you like, but you won't find the bullets I took out.
You knew!
You were bringing me out here to kill me? Because our marriage has been over for years and you can't afford to divorce me? Sure I knew.
But you still came. Why?
Just look at those stars, David. Doesn't it make you feel inspired?
I guess. But
I was inspired before we even came out here, David. I was inspired to make that delicious soup you ate a while ago. And inspired to add some deadly poisonous mushrooms you can find in these parts.
no! You couldn't have. You wouldn't have.
Oh, but I did. Can you feel your breath getting shorter, baby? By my reckoning, you have maybe a couple of minutes to leave.
Oh, please. Honey, you have to help me.
They'll probably never find you. But if they do, they'll just Talk about warning folk again about eating the wild mushrooms in these parts. Did you ever think that this would be your last Camp David?
Apocalypse then? The end of the world is not going to plan.
Ah, Peter, there you are. Thanks for coming up.
Your call sounded quite urgent. Everything all right?
Well, actually, no. I wanted to see you because I've been getting a lot of complaints about one of our departments.
Really? Which department?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse? But that's one of our best. What's wrong?
Loads of complaints about the Four Horsemen.
Well, I have to say, I'm really surprised. All four horsemen have had a millennia of training for their roles, and I thought they'd hit the ground running. I thought they were doing a cracking job. They're very enthusiastic. You only have to take a quick glance down there to see they've got war, famine, pestilence and death off to a fine art.
Yes, Peter, I don't doubt their enthusiasm, but...
But?
Well, I'm getting a lot of complaints that they are not even-handed. These are just the recorded complaints about famine from Africa.
Well, complaining seems a bit harsh. Famine is excellent at his job. He's inflicted starvation on millions down there, and most would say he's doing very well.
I don't doubt... I know that's what we trained him for, but don't you think he's a bit, well, a bit patchy?
Patchy?
Yes. Well, I'll grant you, he's got people undernourished in their millions in Africa. But look at America.
Well, I'm sure there are people starving there too.
Some, yes, but the overwhelming majority are doing just fine. Have you seen the size of a Big Mac? I'll be honest with you, Peter. I've always envisaged that the company would be right up there with the best when it comes to equality. But starvation does seem to be concentrated in some places, while elsewhere they're picking out and waddling through their obesity.
Ah, but we do have a cross-fertilisation policy.
What?
Each of the four horsemen's work complements the other. So, for example, if famine and pestilence can't get them, then death will step in and take those people out with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes.
But wait, are you saying that we have a deliberate strategy of starving some people and killing others with overfeeding?
Yes, but pestilence will do his stuff as well.
But he seems a bit random too. I mean, there's something like 500,000 dying from a disease like malaria, but then billions who never contract it.
Ah, we did see our market coverage wasn't great there, so pestilence has been working on a more recent pandemic, more widespread pandemic recently, and I think it's worth noting that it's not in his contract to kill everyone, just to make them ill.
Well, I can see that war is already doing more than enough on the killing people front.
He's a very good worker.
Switzerland.
Sorry?
Switzerland is an example of somewhere that never has a war. But if you look at somewhere like Afghanistan...
Would you like a war in Switzerland? You only have to say the word.
No, I don't want a war in Switzerland. I'm just asking why we never have wars in some places and we're always having them in others.
War is doing his best. If you want conflict across the globe, you'll need more horsemen. Don't forget we tried world wars twice and they just weren't sustainable.
So you're saying 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is not enough?
The original business plan never envisaged a population of near 8 billion.
So you're suggesting that war, famine, pestilence and death have too much work to do and can't cover the whole earth?
They can't, so they've got to focus on particular areas.
But some areas are completely untouched.
There's only so much suffering can go around.
I'd like us to look at things being a bit more equitable.
In what way?
Well, for example, why does all the war have to be in the Middle East?
It's not all there.
Predominantly it is. And why does starvation and the worst disease have to be concentrated on the southern hemisphere?
Is it?
Yes. as is poverty, which means a shorter lifespan and the same people getting more attention from death.
Well, when you put it that way.
These people are right to complain.
So what would you like us to do?
I want things evened out, Peter. All our customers should have the same quality of service. What does mean?
They won't like it.
Who?
The rich. There's a significant majority down there who have enough cash to insulate themselves against famine and pestilence. It doesn't matter how hard those two work, they can't make much impact.
But you said the 4 horsemen were engaged in
Cross-fertilization, they are. But death and war can't make much inroad with the wealthy either.
Why not?
The wealthy tend to have all the resources, so that means they're able to move armed conflict elsewhere and keep death at a distance for longer than the poor.
I can't believe this. I always imagined that we would trigger the apocalypse and the whole world would have an equal share in armed conflict, disease and starvation, which would culminate in the death of everyone, end of days and all that. Now, I find, now you're telling me that it's actually the minority who are having it all fall on them. If you live in a wealthy part of the world, you're pretty much okay.
I suppose so, yes.
Hang on a minute. If the majority are wealthy, how come they don't share their excess with those who aren't?
That's not how they roll.
They don't share their food with the hungry.
No.
They don't share their medicines with the sick.
No.
They don't use their power and influence to stop armed conflicts.
Not really.
And they don't die as early as the unfortunates.
In the main, no.
Why was I not told about this?
Well,
What?
well, to be honest, we all thought you'd lost interest.
Lost interest?
Well, it was obvious some time back that they hadn't really turned out as you'd hoped, so we kind of thought that you'd given up on them and decided to work on a far less ambitious project.
Really? And humanity? Did they think I gave up on them?
Not all of them, but
most of them. I see.
you're upset.
I had no idea it had got so bad down there. And now I find we're making things worse by setting the 4 horsemen on the weakest.
There's only so much desolation they can spread.
Call them off.
What?
Call them back. Get war, famine, pestilence and death back here now. And tell them the apocalypse is off.
But what about the end of the world?
Cancel it.
They're not a good lot down there.
Well, I can see that. But bringing about the end of days by pouring more misery onto those who are already miserable and giving the fortunate a quick and easy exit from life isn't acceptable.
But what will we do instead?
Bring about some equality, Peter.
But how? There's a huge gulf between the haves and have-nots.
I'll tell you exactly how. We're going to change the climate.
I think they're doing a pretty good job of that themselves.
Oh, I know, but we'll exacerbate it. We'll give them floods and storms and droughts and tsunamis, but we'll spread them right across the globe. They can all have some. And we'll divide them in their own lands. They can still have their regional conflicts, but they can learn to deal with an enemy within.
Wow.
And we'll throw in some food shortages as well for the richer.
Oh, goodness.
And they can all learn to deal with disease, not just the poor, not just the third world, all of them.
So you're going to punish them?
Not punish, teach them. We're going to teach the rich that they are as vulnerable as the poor. And we're going to teach the poor that they won't be carrying the world's suffering alone.
I'm not sure it'll change them.
You might be right, but it's worth a try. Maybe, just maybe, they'll start to think of themselves as part of something where they look after each other, and where success and disaster are shared in equal measures.
I'll get right onto it. I'll speak to our natural disasters people straight away and get some societal division organised as soon as possible.
Thank you, Peter.
What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't change them?
Then it really will be end of days. But it won't be us that brings it about. It'll be their own doing.
And the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
Tell them they can take a break, and then they'll be sent for retraining.
Oh, to do what?
If the human race sorts itself out, we might just redeploy them on peace, nutrition, health, and life.
You have been watching Easywings with Helen Corns and David Walker. Camp David with Sarah Wiggins and Alan Jenner. And Apocalypse Then with Chris Holland and Steve Wright. The directors were Phil Domaille and Tony Domaille. Video and sound were by Gil Gilroy. Journeyman Theatre Productions would like to thank Papilio at Heritage, Thornbury for the film location, freesfx.co.uk for sound effects and music, and also to thank you for watching. All the plays were rehearsed and recorded within COVID-19 guidelines, and we hope you enjoyed them. If you did, a small donation would be really appreciated. It helps ensure we can bring you future productions online or hopefully on stage soon. Details of how to donate are coming up on screen. Thank you, and we hope to see you again soon.